clap. Okay.
Those dang gnats.
Now that's so I can sync that mic up with that camera. So,
Okay.
okay.
All righty.
Whenever you're ready.
We're back to Wentworth. Oh, hang on.
Oh, sure.
Hang on. Sue, are you coming in?
I'm back here.
Oh, okay. She's going to listen from back there. Okay. We talk. What I remember about you at Wentworth, besides the leadership positions, was you on the gridiron. You were a definite influence to all of us. You know what? You might talk about. There's some school for wayward boys down in Boonville, and we had some kind of a rivalry with them.
When I came to Wentworth, even in summer camp, the rivalry with the school in Boonville was intense. And one of the big things that made an impression on me when I was 13-year-old freshman was going to Boonville on Thanksgiving Day for the Thanksgiving Day college football game. I can remember marching down Main Street. I'll go down to Boonville now, and I'll try to relive that. It's been 60 years, but I still remember it. There had been some things that happened before I came, I think, that intensified that relationship. And it was promoted by people like Colonel Willoughby, who used to give the homecoming speech. You know, I charge you with a victory. And I competed against him in football and basketball and track. And I came to develop a opinion of them. But let me put a little sidelight on that. My youngest son, David, when he was a sophomore, played in a football game against them down there. And Wentworth, of course, won. But he said, Dad, I've heard you talk about these people for years. You're right.
All right, real quick, can I have you scoot back just a little bit?
What?
Scoot you
Yeah,
back.
roll your chair back
just a little bit.
Yeah, there
Is
you
that
go.
good?
Yeah, just a hair more.
So it was just, but I used to kid and joke about communists and Kemper. I fought communism and Kemper all my life, now they're both gone. But when I came back to Wentworth to teach, I sensed there was a lack of morale. So I tried to build it up. Whenever I'd say that word of that school, I'd spit. All the cadets just went wild. And I did it just for show. A lot of it I put on for show. But it was to maintain that relationship we'd had. You know, I don't know if you know or not, but that Thanksgiving game became so intense at one time, they had to play on neutral field. They played in Sedalia. They wouldn't play in Boonville or Lexington. So I don't know all the particulars, but people like Willoughby and even Colonel Mack. One time I remember a story about Colonel Mack. We played down there when I was a senior, and I was on the sideline standing next to him, and the chain gang was part Kemper and part Wentworth. And one of the Kemper people stuck the pole through the foot of the Wentworth person. Colonel Mack grabbed that Kemper person and walked across the field. It was like the waters parted. The officials called timeout. Colonel Mack took that kid over to their sideline, presented him to their president, turned around and walked back. No word was said. I'll always remember, it was like the waters parted. Just over the years, it was just an intense rivalry. We competed against them in everything. I go down to Boonville every now and then, just for memories. But I always go up to the track when I can, because I remember the last track meet I participated in was down there, where I ran low hurdles, 100, 200, 400, 3 relays, push a shot put, and pole vaults. I would have thrown the javelin, but it was over the time I got to it. You know, just memories like that. You know, other schools and the other military school, oh, they were just somebody to compete against. But there was something about those people. but we were like, they became a military school the same year we did. They became a junior college the same year we did. And athletics was a big part of Whitworth when I was in school. Most of the faculty, if you look back at the old pictures, you'll see the coaches, they wore their college leather sweaters in their pictures. Colonel Wyckoff played football at Missouri. Colonel Sellers played at University of Chicago. Willoughby played at Northwest Missouri. So there was Uggles was on the Northwest Missouri Athletic Hall of Fame for basketball and baseball. Athletics was a big important part of it, and that homecoming game on Thanksgiving, that was sacred. I can tell you right now who threw what pass and who caught it and where in that game in 1956, because I can remember it so well. I think we need rivalries, but isn't that about life? Isn't life about winning? It's all about winning. I don't care what you are, you have to win. Those that don't want to try to win are the ones that are living hand to mouth, I think, and aren't taking advantage of things. That's one thing I wanted to mention to you. It always bothered me that people that came to Wentworth didn't take advantage of everything. They fought it because they didn't have their car. They didn't have their television in their room. They didn't have their cell phone. Somebody told them when to get up. They had to shave. They had to shine their shoes. Most people accepted that, but some didn't. And I often thought, I felt sorry for them. Yeah.
I do too. The school made me what I am.
Well, I don't think I could have had all the things I've had. I'd never wanted for anything. I've had everything I wanted. Life has been good to me. And who else am I to blame? Wentworth.
Good point. I'm going to shift gears on you here. We're going to go back to Vietnam. You had told me a year or two, 5 years ago, that you were in the hospital and somebody came by and pinned the Purple Heart on your pillow or on you?
A Wentworth graduate, Daniel P. Shungle, graduated in 43. He was deputy group commander of 5th Special First Group, and I was in the hospital the second time when it came time for my promotion. And he said, pictured back here, he came to the hospital to promote to captain and pinned a Purple Heart on me. And I didn't know he was a Wentworth graduate. If I had known, we'd probably still be sitting there talking today. I didn't realize that. That was in 1968, and it wasn't until 1989 I realized he was a Wentworth graduate. But that meant a lot to me. All I had to, if I would have said the word Sellers, we would have gone on and on and on.
Yeah. One of the things, for me at least, because I was 13 when I started, but I felt there was that connection with the people that came before, all the cadet corps, all the commanders, the whole shooting match.
I felt the same way. I was just carrying the flag for a short period of time. I did too. That's why I like to look at these pictures behind us. And they came before us, and they set the traditions, and they lived it. And so when we moved the Doughboy downtown, and I had the privilege of speaking, and I said, the men whose names are on this plaque walk down the same street that I have walked down, and the Doughboy should be here with them.
Yes. You know, when we rededicated the Doughboy in, I think it was 2003, for the 125th homecoming, I got a letter from Bob Daniels. I don't know if you remember Bob.
I remember he was in high school when I was in college.
Track guy.
Great athlete and a good person.
Yeah. He wrote a letter because he lived up in D Company his whole 7 years up in that area, and he calculated how many times he had walked by that Doughboy statue, and it turned out 14,000 some times.
Really?
Yes.
I've often thought about that myself. When I came to summer camp, it was just a statue, didn't mean anything. But when I came back and through the years, and as I said when I spoke down there, he didn't just represent those people for World War I. He represented all Wentworth men that have served and the ones that are serving today. It just happened to be there. You know.
Now, Sam, when you were there as a young man, did you know Bill Adams?
Yes, well, I knew Bill well.
Can you talk about who he was?
Bill Adams was a very gentle, kind, quiet person. And I feel very fortunate. I might have been the last Whitworth man to see him. When I was in jump school to be a paratrooper, Bill was at Fort Benning also with his unit trained to go for his first tour. And we encountered each other at Fort Benning and had lunch together. And I often remember that because I really liked Bill. I mean, we weren't in the same company, but somehow we knew each other. But he was just one of the nicest people I ever knew. He really was. And I could picture him doing what he did. In fact, that happened, I was in country when that happened. And when I saw the name in the paper, I sent to Colonel Sellers to tell him about, what had happened, the circumstance. Bill was he was just one of those good people. It's a shame what happened, but the good die young.
Yeah. He was gone by the time I got there. I wish I could have known him. But, so we got a lot of our old boys are leaving us.
And I was trying to raise some money for something, and I wanted to get a hold of my high school football team. There's only 3 of us left. And that was 1959. And that's just the way life is, I've had 3 or 4 of my roommates have passed away. I don't like looking at Al McCormick's posts on Facebook because he always mentions death. But that's life. We all go on. Like I tell you, I live down in Higginsville now, and I go to the Veteran Cemetery to be with my people. And there's probably only 10 people who are buried down there I even know. But life goes on. I often think about all those people over there, how many are still alive, and the impressions they made on people.
I always thought, at least when I was there and you, all our instructors, 95% of them had served in World War II. And looking back on it in the 60s, we were taught by the greatest generation.
We were, like I said before, my football coaches, they'd all served in combat, and that made a big impression on me at the time, and then later on. At the time it did because they were so hard-nosed. Come on, wipe it up, stand up, suck it up, you're not hurt. And I see, when I was coaching, I see kind of kidding my students. They'd talk about that. Ouchie, I said, you want me to kiss it? Make it go away? And they, oh no, it doesn't hurt anymore. But we all have to live that way. It's easy. It gets back, we were talking earlier about different men. I've only mentioned a fraction of those I could. We could step over to the window and I could start going through different names. But just people. I used to tell when I was helped recruited, it wasn't a brick and mortar at Wentworth, it was the people. And how over the years, even when I came back to teach, I looked around, such good people. And I always told the other faculty members when they come, I said, Wentworth's in a job, it's a way of life.
That's why I came back for those 5 years, but I went broke, so I couldn't stay. Okay, this museum it's been a godsend that we've been able to save as much. George Hintner and Lohman and those folks, and you and Ted Butheris and all the folks, Monty and Sue. And we're getting ready to move this location down to a building down here that I see. I don't know what that building is.
It used to be a post office.
Okay. Sam, when you respond on this, say that the new museum is going to be in the old post office, and then.
Well, I think it'll be a better building. I think it'll be a better environment, from what I understand. And we've got that park in the back, which is probably better than what we could have done here. It's still Wentworth, and it's next to the Lexington Museum, so it kind of is a special part of town. Because there's some Wentworth I remember being in the Lexington Museum. I know there's a Wentworth blue uniform belonged to my son that's down there.
Let's talk about your sons. They both went to Wentworth.
My two younger sons. The oldest one didn't.
Okay. Well, your two younger sons, tell me their names and approximately when they were there, what that meant to you. You know, I know when my son Casey went there, I couldn't be more proud.
Okay, real quick, Sam, could you scoot back just a little bit?
Oh, gonna scoot back.
Yeah, there you go.
I caught myself scooting forward.
Okay.
It meant a lot to me that the boys went here. It was hard on them. John, he came as a senior, so he's only here 1 year. And David was here 3 years. And David became a cadet officer, wore my saber. And to watch them play football, particularly that first game when both of them were playing down in Boonville, that really meant a lot to me. It really did. But as they had said to me, Wentworth was different when you went to school here, Dad, and the people were different. So, but it meant a lot to me. I bought them rings, and they still have them this day. And David came back for homecoming last year. It was important to me. The oldest boy was in college when we came back, so he couldn't come. So, there's a lamppost that I was on the campus we were going to put down the park that's got their names on, along with Caroline, my wife, who taught high school and then later college Spanish. We're not the sellers, but we made our point.
You made a hell of a point.
Yeah.
To a lot of people, Sam. I'm telling you, every cadet that has ever known you, you are a major influence on their lives.
Well, I'd like to think I was a positive influence. I've always tried to influence people. When I was in Miami, I had a scout troop. I was interested in a mentor to a couple of kids. I've always tried to help. Some people help me. If I can help them by either give them a kick in the butt or a hug, because we all need it. I need it from those people over there, and we got to keep doing it. It's like when I retired, I volunteered to preschools here and taught, and you got to give back. I said the term now is give forward, but still giving back for what was given to me. Yeah.
One of the things that always impressed me about you is out here at the For Life Center, that you would take time and go out and read stories to the little kids.
Well, yes. My mother was a first grade school teacher, and I was educated to be a teacher myself. And somehow that came about, and for 10 years I read to the kids at the preschool and or to kindergarten and first grade too. But I enjoyed that, Mark, and I wish I could still do it. Because of the pandemic, they didn't want volunteers in school anymore. But I wanted the little kids, gave teachers a break, but also I wouldn't read the kids unless they smiled, because I wanted them to think that school was a happy, safe place. And Grandpa Sam was here to ensure that. And I enjoyed it. Just like a little kid gave you a hug or a smile. Because they're innocent. They haven't been taught to hate yet. Well, think about it. Yeah.
That's true.
Real quick, Is someone's cell phone on? I've been hearing
Yeah.
dings.
Oh, mine was.
Oh.
I forgot to turn it off.
Uh-oh, we gotta start over.
No, that's fine.
I didn't even think about that.
Actually, maybe I forgot to mention it, so I probably should.
Yeah, I thought I heard one earlier.
Yeah, I thought it was mine, but I was like, it sounds off.
It could have been mine. Whenever something comes up on Facebook, it dings.
Okay, we're good now.
Why do you think people keep asking you to give speeches around here?
Because I'm available. No, it's interesting. Like I said earlier, I never had a problem with public speaking. And I attribute that to Wentworth. By being a quarterback in football, when in my day, the quarterback called the plays and those leadership positions. But I always spoke at Memorial Day and Veterans Day at high schools and veterans organizations. I think just because I was available, convenient.
That's not true. Why did they pick Sam Ratcliffe?
I just gave you the answer, Mark.
No, it's more than being available. All of us are available.
Well, I guess it's my vanity. I wanted to be in charge. I go down from that podium, damn it, I'm in charge. Shut up and listen.
I remember when Bill Sellers was the superintendent. I think it was about 2000. Get my years mixed up, but he asked you and a cadet and 3 honor guard guys to go to Washington to the wall. Can you talk a little bit? I know you gave a great speech, but
Well, that's an interesting point. They asked me to go to represent Wentworth. And I don't know if you recall, but we got there the afternoon before the ceremony, and I got a call on my phone to ask me if I would speak the next morning. And that night at the bar, on our bar napkin, I made some notes, but it was ad lib. I just, that was an honor. It was really an honor because I didn't know Dale Bice, and I'm always thankful my name wasn't on that wall. But I was representing Wentworth. It was quite an honor. I said, like I said, I talked to a tree if it stands still, and the trees weren't moving that day.
Sam, I don't know if you really understand what an inspiration you are. You know, Matt's sitting here. I know he's just eating this stuff up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, his grandfather was in World War I and two. I'm sorry.
I'm not that old.
I'm old though. I can't remember. Were any of your family ever in the
My
service?
father was too young for World War I, too old for World War II. Interesting enough, though, my great-grandfather fought in the Franco-Prussian War, and that's one reason he came to the United States with brought his family. He didn't want his sons to serve in the Prussian army and to fight in a war.
Wow. Yeah.
My grandmother didn't understand why I went in the army. But the things we talked about here before and the impressions, I just felt like I had to. I mean, aside from getting drafted, I just had to. I had to give back. Others had done it, and it wasn't that big a deal. I was lucky. I was very fortunate, and I came out all right, and the VA takes good care of me. But nobody in my family ever served. Now, 2 of my 3 sons have served. One's retired lieutenant colonel, and one retired this year as a CW-4 helicopter pilot.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Interesting. Well, I know you're proud of him.
very much so.
Yeah.
I've been very fortunate. Caroline did a good job.
Agreed. But you happen to be there to influence as well.
I was.
Yeah. What are some of your best memories of Wentworth?
Well, that walk down Main Street in Boonville in 1956 was one. having the opportunity to be a first sergeant C Company, because I came out of the ranks in headquarters company with all the college kids. That was good. Playing football, I could go through so many. I could go through the games. You want to go through them?
Let's go through a game.
No, I mean like I drive I-70, and you get down to Green Valley. There used to be a football field that labor building is. I remember playing football down there. I can remember the game down in Boonville in 1959, October 23rd, bright sunshiny day. I guess when I became brigade commander, because that was a surprise to me. Mark, I could just go on and on about almost day by day. I remember when I was a freshman in high school, I got the award for second best junior high school athlete. That was big. And I got my junior year, I got the room medal for the best kept room in C Company. Just little things. We initiated the W Club. I could go on and on and on.
Talk about the W Club. What was that?
Well, it was a Letterman's Club. When I first got initiated into it, when I was a sophomore in high school, I learned football. You had to learn football, basketball, and track. And you went through a week of initiation. You had a big brother, and you had to carry shoe polish on you and an egg, and have the egg signed by a faculty, and you had to eat raw eggs. I ate 58 that year. Oh, God. Anyway, and then at the end of the week, we had a talent show where everybody dressed up as girls, and then we had a dance where you could wear civilian clothing on Saturday night. It was a big thing. But I guess my senior year, they decided to let other sports join W Club, such as swimming, wrestling, golf. Well, that was beneath us. Oh my God. We formed a sorority called Phi Delta Jock to ban those people. They were beneath us. Yeah. They hadn't gone through 2 days. 2 days football practice, you know.
You're killing me.
Oh no, we did. We had little lockets made, we had a constitution, yeah, because we thought we were superior.
Sort of a link with the past.
Yes.
Yes. And what's this? I know a first year cadet was known as a plebe or something, or.
Well, plebes are what the other military schools call them. We call them RATs, recruit at training. It's a term from VMI. One of our former commandants, Colonel Hickman, had been at VMI. And in my day, you had to go through the back door, sweep the halls, pour water and milk and tea and coffee for the old boys. And supposedly they brace you, you had to recite the Rat's Creed. You know, Iser, Amser, Acer, Retzer, Iser, Amser, Acer, Lorser, Aztecs, Belcher, Butcher, Hirsch, Kemper, Colonel. To tell you how things changed, the latter years of Wentworth, they eliminated that because it was derogatory. And we became so PC, we couldn't say that. Yeah, but you was a new boy. You had to run little errands and tricks.
Back doors.
That was a big thing. When you became an old boy, you go through the front door.
Oh my. Sam, you got a million stories, and I'm running out of questions for you.
Well, let me tell you a story, one of my favorites.
Yeah.
I read about this in something Colonel Sellers had written. There was a time when Wentworth the Red Dragon wasn't the mascot. There was a bulldog named Bruno. there was a stray bulldog that showed up on campus, and he went everywhere. When they had, in those days, they didn't have a chapel. They had the chapel in the what now is Klondike Hall, and up on the stage, Bruno would go up on stage and sit with the faculty during that, and he went everywhere. Well, it was kind of a mascot, no big deal. When they went down to Boonville on Thanksgiving to play, Bruno got on a train and went with them. When he got down there, the dogs are colorblind. He couldn't tell the difference in the colored uniforms. And he stayed. And they got back to Wentworth, and they said, "Where's Bruno?" He's down there. Well, in the school paper down there, they talked about how they had captured Wentworth's mascot. Well, a debate team from Wentworth went down there to compete, and some extranumeraries went down, and they captured Bruno and held him in a hotel until the night train, and he came back at night. And then Bruno came back and disappeared. That's one of Colonel Sellers' old stories.
It's starting about 1950 till, I don't know, mid-70s. They had a thing in Kansas City at
Called the Wentworth Show. Oh, it was a sales promotion. And we'd all go to Kansas City, and we'd do our song and dance and parade and Indian dance and shoot blank guns and march. And it was fun. It was always fun. It was a lot of hassle. You had to get your uniform just right, and they would fill that auditorium with 10,000 people for the Wentworth Show. But Wyckoff did that just for recruiting, but it worked, and we enjoyed it. Yeah, we had a set schedule. I'm trying to think. It seemed like the military ball was in January, Wentworth Show was in February, spring break was in March, government spectrum was in April. Graduations in May. Yeah, the Wentworth Show was a big deal when I was brigade commander. Boy, I was top dog. I got to walk around in front of everybody, 10,000 people looking at Sammy. Boy, you couldn't touch me with a 10-foot pole that day. And there were girls.
Yes, there were. Yeah. When I was there, and you there, the Wentworth Band, to me, was like the best military marching band I have
Outstanding. They were outstanding. Down to the Spotted Pig, there's a picture of them on the wall. And every time I go in there, I look at that. That's when they marched in the presidential inaugural parade. They were outstanding. And they had that snap drill, the snap 40 they put on at football games and other places. The band was our PR organization, that and the Honor Guard. But the band, because of the music, we were very fortunate. The band was very important to Wentworth.
And I know because you were so involved in athletics, you really didn't have time to try out for the Honor Guard.
Well, I went to, when I was a sophomore, I went to Colonel Brown and asked him to be on the Honor Guard. And he said, "No. Get back in ranks, boy." Well, athletics one thing, because you all practice same time we practice. I don't know anybody on the football team that was in the Honor Guard. But the Honor Guard was good, and we were proud of you. Like that game down in Boonville on October 23rd, 1959, it was on a Friday afternoon. And of course, they weren't going to close Wentworth down and take the college down. So the Honor Guard and the German Bureau Corps went to support us.
Excellent. Just wanted to get that in.
Well, I did too. It meant a lot to us.
Yes. I've always heard stories, because I was a day dodger and had to live at home with the commandant and the nurse, by the way. But I always heard stories that late at night, especially around homecoming, making those big floats and all that, but they were disassembled the cannons and stuck them up on the roof.
I've heard of that, not during my time.
Yeah,
There was all sorts of shenanigans that went around. I know when I was the commander of A Company, we didn't have any chicken wire. And they used to have handball courts up behind the parade field. We went there at night and took down all that chicken wire to make our designs with.
For the homecoming floats. Yeah, homecoming was a big deal.
It was. It was a big deal.
Yeah. Because old boys would come back and we could show off for the old boys and they would just shake their heads at us.
And we'd march downtown like Mark. I could walk out that street and I'll still look for the Corps. Are they come down the hill yet? It just doesn't seem right if the Corps not walking down that street. But these things will pass. There'll become a time when we're all gone and no one will think anything of it. And we'll have all this down the street and the strangers can walk in and say, gee, that must have been a nice place.
We'll have treasures right here.
What?
We'll have treasures right here, right now.
Well, let's hope so.
And we'll have forever.
Let's hope so. This has been a very humbling experience. Thank you. And it's been, like I said earlier, Matt, maybe the only adult conversation I have all day.
Anything else, Sam, you want to talk about?
Mark, thank you very much. It's been very humbling. I appreciate you thinking that much of me. I'm just another cadet. Look on that wall. There's thousands of us.
Well, Bob Long kind of had the ideas about interviewing people, and Monty and Sue and the powers that be said, yeah, let's do it. Well, and and I want to thank Matt too.
Thank you, Matt, for coming up here.
No.
I'm going to give you some money for gas.
Oh, no.
Yes.
No. Drawing a line in the sand right there. Nope.
Okay. Mark, thank you.
No,
Mark, what you've given back to Wentworth over the years has been wonderful. Just like when you filmed that dinner banquet we had when I spoke back in on the 25th on the 100th anniversary, 125th anniversary.
Yeah.
You've done so much. You've put these together.
Well,
Thank you so much.
no.
Your dad would be proud. I know your mother is.
Well, thank you, Sam. Yeah, that's the same thing you had. You feel like giving back.
Well, like I said to so many people, we're all in this together.
Yeah. Something you don't know, and I've told Sue and Monty and others, for whatever reason, I like capturing history. And this is history right now, okay? I've got all this film. I probably have 100 hours of Wentworth stuff, but it's on digital tapes, and so it needs to be transferred.
Well, that one you had, I had to take out to a Derillo to convert.
Oh, okay.
I don't know where that is now. It's in my storage booth.
It's on.
Matt, when I had a heart attack, and I had to sell my house, and I had to clean everything out. I don't know where anything is anymore.
Well, I'm glad we got some of your history on here.
Thank you.
I know you probably have 1,000 hours of other stories, and
Well, you got me going. I could just like Bruno. I could. Some are true, some are not.
I never heard about Bruno.
Yeah, Colonel Mack told that story one time.
Huh. I got a lot of video of him. All these people. Not all, but as many as I could get.
Yeah.
And
Like I said, it wasn't brick and mortar. We had great facilities,
yes,
but it was the people.
yeah, it was. It was, and again, for me, it was that greatest generation teaching us.
Yes.
Not just in the classroom, but no, by their example.
Well, just like with Major Oglesby in the ROTC department.
Yes. Colonel Ingalls.
Yeah, he came along just as I was leaving.
Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of his, but he's the one that commissioned me. He did the oath.
It's interesting you mentioned who commissioned me, and I couldn't recall. I don't remember.
Yeah.
It was a wham bam, thank you, ma'am. Sam, be here at 1 o'clock, and I was gone by 1:05.
Right. Well, I know in later years, when I came back to school, 2003 to 8, they had this commissioning ceremony, first salute.
Oh, they make a big deal out of it.
Yeah, we never had that.
You just did it.
He said, you know, get a picture.
Yeah, Sam, here's the paperwork. Get the hell out. We got other things to do.